Okay, so still got a little bit of front end work to do to finish off the last. After you initiate a deal, you can see this empty spot here. It'll store that information. I still got to write the front end for that today, and after you verify it to verify. But I want to go ahead and show at least what I've got because pretty much all the back end's done and a lot of the front end's done. So I know it's already a little bit late, so I just want to show what I got, and then I'm hoping obviously by tonight I'm going to work on it, and I should be able to have a completed demo and uploaded all the code by then. But here's the idea. So this is a IoTex EPA simulator. So basically what you can do is you can upload if you're a admin. Of course, right now I haven't even so actually I'm going to start from scratch. So I'm going to do truffle migrate reset so that you can see from the very beginning kind of what the process would be to walk through when you're demoing it. Okay, so then we'll relaunch it. So typical, I've got a React front end connected to a Express back end, so you just need two windows open. I've already ran the node server .js, so you just do npm start script and it will load up. So since I just migrated it, it has some convenience information up here. This is the owner, so if you were to go to MetaMask, that's going to be the address that I'm currently at, 0xc or whatever. So that's the address owner that has all the owner privileges. So that's the person who can add admin. He is an admin, so he can add a whitelist. He's an owner, so he could blacklist. He can pretty much do everything. The owner. None of the other addresses right now can do anything. So I've loaded in some addresses. Right now I'm showing this demo on Ganache, and Truffle. So these are just some Ganache addresses that I've imported from that account. And I've got the Truffle config JS, so if you just want to duplicate what I've got, those settings. Okay, so what else do we have here? So basically what's going to happen is the admin list is for convenience. So on when you actually have the constructor run, when you deploy this, the owner is put as the only admin, but we can change that. We can add some admin. You've got address of escrow, and then you've got the address of what is called the monitor account. So the monitor account, so the way to think of this is, if I was somebody at the EPA and I had to deal with a company and I am going to take in their gas resistance, which we use, the gas target, we're just going to use it as a number, and whatever number I put as my target, if they come under it and it's within the time frame that we set for the deal, so we're going to initiate deals. If the correct device in the correct time frame gives me a valid target and of course gets validated and it's on the whitelist, then that goes down as a success. And in the demo, we're going to allow 12 of these, and you can put the min number of successes. So the min number of successes would be what are the minimum number of times you need to have a successful reading before you get any money, because you're going to have a deal balance as well, and that deal, if the deal is completed successfully, then the escrow account is going to automatically verify it and send out a payout to the company address that we put here. So the idea would be, as the EPA, you go to do a deal and only admin can do this deal, so this is restricted, but I can initiate a deal, put in this information, and if everything checks out, then I'll be able to verify it. Now that part is what I've got to add, so I'll show you everything up to there as far as on the front end stuff. Okay, but that's how the smart contract code is working in the background. Of course, you can register your device, and we will do that, and then it kind of keeps track of which devices you own, but you can also search for other people's device by IMEI. And you do have a little restriction here. That's why the red border, you have to put in 15 characters. Okay, so the first thing you would do when you want to do this is you need to actually set for the escrow the monitor address that needs to be stored. So you have to be the owner to do this, because if you're not the owner, so I'll switch over to another account. It's going to warn you that you're going to get I've got an is owner contract in here, and the caller's not the owner. So so you got to go back to the whatever account you've got that's the owner. So in this case it was this account, so now it should allow me to go through, and now if I was to go, it should match the monitor account, which it does. Okay, so as long as this matches this monitor account, you know that you're good to go. I could probably put that in the deploy to automatically do it, because I'm basically deploying two contracts, and one of them stores the address of the other, and one of them stores the actual contract. And the stored part, I've just got it to where I'm doing it, the owner can do it first thing. So now that it's stored, I've got this balances convenience, so it gives you the balance of the monitor account and the escrow account. The escrow account will get money from the monitor. It's built in whenever you put in balance, but you do need to make sure from some account you put some money here. So that's another reason why these are already handy, so that when I go to send some funds, I can just copy and paste up here and I don't have to actually know it. But again, this is kind of assumed, like if you were the EPA, your admin or some account would have somebody with access to funds would make sure to have this account have a certain amount of money in it at all time. So you're going to have to actually do that. The other thing that I did for convenience is I've got the simulator in the background. Of course, it's running and going to make all the data. So if you want addresses to just check, it will use the pub key and give you an address there. So you'll see sometimes addresses popping up. Any function when it changes the address state will pop it up here. That's just for the simulator purposes. It doesn't really do much, but if you want to change that, you can hit run simulator. You can kind of see it running. It actually does a child process and calls the shell script of the simulator that I hacked. I changed a little bit of it, and then I can now get a new address. So sometimes that's just convenient if you want to test out some of this functionality and you don't have to go searching for other addresses. You can just copy and paste there. Okay, so let's see. So if you want to add admin, so admin are the only ones who can add deals. So but anybody can register a device. So for instance, if I'm not an admin, so let me switch accounts real quick. So if I'm not an admin and I want to add a device, has to be 15 characters. Of course, you would type in your true IMEI, but I'm just going to type in 15 random characters. You go to register a device. You are allowed to do this. Now, it will warn you you're not an admin, so if you want to actually whitelist this address, you've got to get an admin to do it. So this would be like in the real world, so to speak. Somebody could come and register their device, but if they're just a random person, they can't whitelist it. Okay, they could try, but they're not going to be able to do it. So so it's just telling them that the address that I associate with this IMEI is not going to be whitelisted. So I just hit OK, and then it pops up on the devices I own. So how can I change that? Well, if I am if I go back to the admin account, okay, I don't have any addresses that this devices that have been added by this address, but I can. Oh, I forgot to save the IMEI. Okay, so that's why you would want to. Should have thought about that. Let me go back to account 3 and copy the IMEI. Copy. So this is an admin. This is actually the owner. So first I will search for the IMEI because I need the address to be able to whitelist. So I will search for that. Okay, and it gives me the address that we had just saw, which happens to still be the address on the top there because that's where it gets it. Copy. So now if I go to add a whitelist address, it will just double check and say, you sure? Of course, this will also confirm, so it's not really necessary. Confirm. It's confirmed. So you're able to whitelist if you're the admin. Okay. So so again, if I was not the admin and I went to whitelist, so I'll go to account 3 real quick, and I'll just pick this address. So if I was to go to whitelist and I'm here, then it's not going to even let me do it on the front end. But even if I tried to skip it on the back end, there's a only admin modifier. So a modifier that checks, are you part of the admin map? Blacklist, you actually have to be the owner. So it's not just an admin. Okay, so that's kind of how this works. So let me show you also, how do you add an admin. So let's say I copied this. I want to add account 3 as an admin. So right now the owner can only do that. So I have to go back to the owner, copy this address in, confirm it, and then now you notice the admin automatically updates. So it's got the new admin, which is the address of this third account here. Okay, so account 3. So that kind of is the way you would control. So again, you notice I could add. So one thing is, okay, I'll just add in this so it's easy to remember. Register device. So now you see that I'm an admin. It will actually automatically prompt me, do you want to just right away add this to the whitelist? So if I hit OK, of course I have to now pay for that again. So I can actually do that all in one fell swoop. So not only was this, because I was an admin now, not only was I able to register, it actually went ahead and said, hey, do you want to go ahead and whitelist this? Yes or no. And you can hit no, and then you'll have to manually do it. Or you can now, if you're an admin and you're registering a device, you can just do it in one fell swoop. So that's kind of nice. If you do go to register a second device of the same IMEI, it's going to say device already registered because it stores in a map the IMEI strings and a boolean. So in fact, I go ahead and check them on the front end, but it would also, if you somehow called the smart contract, it's got the same check where it requires that to be unique. So it has to be false. If it already exists, it's going to kick back and say, sorry, can't do that. So I tried to build in a lot of stuff on the front end so it would kick it back, but it would also have these required checks on the back end. Okay, so then you finally get a device. So then what can you do to initiate a deal? So this is the part that I just finished adding tonight. So I've only done a little bit of debugging, but you have for the front end here, so you basically would put in an address that you want as the pay. This is the payee if they are successful. So you would say, okay, maybe I want to use like address 5 as that. So I'll go down to address 5 and copy. Okay, so one thing is you do have to be an admin. So I can be account 2 or account 3, but you have to be an admin to actually do this. So I'll copy in the address, company ID. That's just a string. If I was to add in later like subgraph capabilities, then you could use the company ID or company name, I guess you could think of it, but however you identify it. But for right now, it just stores that and doesn't do anything with it. You need some device for the deal. So if I just put in like a random device, we will see that it will not work. So you have to put in a device that's actually registered. A deal length, right now I just do 30, 60, or 90 days, but deal balance. So this, so first off, I will have to actually make sure that I add a balance before I do this, because then it's going to be too low. So I forgot to do that. So the address of the monitor account is here. So I need to send some funds to that account first, or else it's going to kick back in. It's just going to have the gas fees. Actually, I've got to require in there that checks the balance, and if the balance is too low compared to the deal balance, it kicks it back. So how many ETH do I want to put? I don't know, 001. Okay, confirm. Okay. All right, so actually on that one, I think I do have to refresh. So all the others you don't have to. So all right, so let's check the balances. So it still says 0. Did I add that to the right? Oh, okay, just got confirmed, didn't it? Yeah, okay. So that took a little bit. So you have to wait for it to be confirmed. And then now it's good. So you see the monitor has this much weight. So as long as I have less than this, so I'll put some order of magnitude smaller for the deal balance, then you should be okay. All right, so going back up here, I now have to recopy that address, don't I? So copy, and then I'll go back to one of the admins. I'll just go back to the owner. So so this should have, did I not register a device with this account yet? No, I didn't. I just did this account. Okay, but it doesn't matter. You can use any device as long as it's registered. So if I was to hit A, that should work. But if I change this to B, you'll see that it'll say, hey, you need something that's registered. So I'll leave that. Again, company ID, I'll just do ABC. Deal balance, let's just do something easy like a million or something. Okay, so the most you can do in the demo is 12. In a real contract, you would change that to just be an arbitrary number, but just trying to make the simulator a little bit easier for me. So 12, so you have to pick a number less than 12. So let's say 8, and then the max is actually, if you hit that threshold, then you get the full payout. And then if you're in between, so in this case 8 and 10, if I was 8, I would get, if you hit the minimum, you're going to get like 50% of it, and then at 9 I would be at 75% in this case, and then at 10 I would get the full payout. And then if I hit 11 or all 12, you still get the full payout. But if I hit 6 successes, and 6 of them are not successes, either the gas target was too low, the timestamp was after the end, or it was not whitelisted, so I was sending tampering with and having rejected data. Regardless, if there was less than 8 successes, I get no payout. So basically the min number of successes is what you have to hit on your verification to get the payout, and the max is what you have to do for full payout. And then in between, basically what it will just be is in between the min and the max will be in between 50 and 100% of whatever deal balance you put here. So that's how it works. And you have to put a gas target. So this is going to use the gas resistance target. It says between 100 and 500. If you put less than 100, I just make it 100. If you put more than 500, I kick it down to 500. But if I put 400, then it should use 400. Okay. So, all right. So this is what I just added. So hopefully this doesn't kick an error. Oh, okay, yeah. So I didn't register the device. I said that. So you have to actually do a device that you registered. And so now all this should be good. If you had something weird like the minimum was higher than the max, it will have an alert. Actually, let me do that real quick. So if you do something that's not right, it should alert me at max must be greater than min. So I've got some front-end checks built in so that hopefully you're not wasting your time and wasting your gas by going and putting bad numbers. If you didn't have a deal balance, or you had a negative deal balance, then it would kick it back. As I said, if you have a device IMI that's not registered, it'll do it. Okay, so this looks okay. So let me try to initiate the deal. Okay, it actually says there's an exception, so I'll have to check it out. So that's where I'm at now. So obviously I've got an exception. I may have actually I just put in the all the inputs to be stored in the deal, what's called the deal struct. So there's a deal struct, and then there's a verify info struct. So some of the data is still stored in the monitor for the deal, and the other part is stored in the escrow so that it can verify. So clearly something's going to go wrong. So I'll confirm and just see formatting. Okay, so must have been the way that I sent in that. So you can see that since I just finished this, I've got a few things to check today. So I'm going to try to have that done, and then once I initiate it and get everything correct there, I will make a full video and full submission. I'm hoping to do that tonight. But I just wanted to kind of show what I've got and you know, how it's going so far. Thanks.